Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're talking about the FA Cup final, which, spoilers, Arsenal just won against Chelsea. It's been a little while since I actually showed my face on my channel. I've been having issues with my recording software and my webcam lining up and it not just being quite right. So I wanted to make sure that when I do start using Facecam again that it works. Hopefully in the near future they'll release another update and fix it because it's driving me mad. But for this video, it doesn't matter too much because there is going to be no gameplay. You can stare at the FIFA menu, background, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to have some pictures thrown up and stuff like that. Now, you may be wondering what the hell this is. I'm probably going to end up covering it up throughout the video with pictures, but that is because it's so sunny in my office / room where I do my YouTube stuff. It is an office. It's just so bright and I haven't got any curtains, nothing. So, yeah, I'm lazy and I haven't put any up. But anyway, that doesn't matter. Let's talk about what happened today, how I'm feeling about it, what's next, and just let's have a general chit-chat. Well, let's keep it simple. Let's talk about the game first. Obviously, if you don't want to know about how the goals were scored or you don't want to know what really happened, you're going to save the highlights for later, then this isn't the video for you. Maybe just skip forward a little bit to when I'm talking about the aftermath of this. And obviously, if you don't want to know the score as well, because I'm going to talk about that. So you can click off or skip forward now. Okay, so basically, guys... Well, actually, no. Why would you click this video if you didn't want to know the score? Anyway, it finished 2-1. In the end, Chelsea finished with 10 men. Moses getting sent off. Silly, silly boy. And, you know, we were 1-0 up. Within 4 minutes, I think it was. We absolutely dominated that first half. It could have been 3, 4, maybe even 5 goals, but that's typical Arsenal, not putting their chances away. Kind of like me on FIFA, really. And then in the second half, after the red card, which, by the way, the red card happened, and I thought, great, that's it. We're going to win this, surely. They scored. And I just had that feeling that I'm sure millions of Arsenal fans have every single season. They probably shared the same feeling with me at that very moment. Just the heart sinking and knowing what's about to happen. We're going to bottle it. We're going to lose the final of the FA Cup. Potential third trophy in 4 years, all being FA Cups, of course, and losing to 10 men. I mean, it was set up for us to fail. It really was. But luckily, the kickoff glitch of dreams, Ramsey scoring a beautiful header from a cross from Giroud, who literally just came on. So big ups to Giroud and Ramsey for that goal. That moment was crazy. I think I may have woken up the entire street had people been asleep. I would have woken them up. I screamed. It was such a big moment. You'll see I'm wearing the Arsenal shirt. I wore this morning knowing that obviously the Arsenal game was happening. I was hoping it was going to bring me some good luck and I'll be wearing it until I go to bed, obviously. I'm not going to change it now after that amazing victory. Maybe this shirt is my good luck charm because I think I wore it. I wore it in my Arsenal career mode at some point and I won a big game. Anyway, I'm kind of superstitious like that. But let's talk about the game itself because I want to first of all say that our team wasn't at their strongest today. We had players like Mertesacker coming in who hasn't been playing much this season at all. Obviously, he's club captain. We all know he's a good defender. Just lacks the obvious pace. But what he does have is experience and vision. And he's got the tactical brain behind him to, I would say, get him out of sticky situations. He kind of anticipates where he's going to be needed and he's able to get there before things happen and therefore his pace isn't too much of an issue. And I want to say Mertesacker was absolutely fantastic today, a true leader. And, you know, I thought we were going to really struggle missing out with Gabriel, Koscielny, and we had Holding next to him. Very young player, still to be a little bit... Well, he's a bit unproven, let's be honest, in these big games. Holding's only had, I think, 17 appearances this season, so... And then we have Monreal on the other side, who isn't even a centre-back. So it really was a makeshift back three. And we beat Chelsea at their own game, you know, with the 3 at the back formation, which they've made so famous this year. Not that it wasn't famous before, but certainly in the Premier League, you don't see it too often. I know Man United tried it when Van Gaal first started. It didn't quite work out. But Chelsea have really mastered it this season. And I would like to think that we did a pretty good job using that 3 at the back formation towards the end of the season. I think we actually did it better than Chelsea did today in the final. So I'm really, really pleased with the defensive, I guess, I don't want to call it like a masterclass, but it really was in some respects. I think some of the defensive tackles and the interceptions and just the way they read the game, it was really impressive. Obviously, they did score, and you could say Ospina should have done a little bit better if you've seen it. I think Czech would have probably saved it. By the way, that must have been horrible for Chelsea fans at the end, seeing Petr Cech, your legend, club legend of Chelsea, celebrating for Arsenal. I mean, we've all been there and done that as Arsenal fans with City winning the league and seeing Clichy celebrate and Nasri and whoever. But that must have sucked. So another thing I want to say as well is Cech, who I think has been a little bit dodgy this season, deserves a lot of respect for switching clubs, Chelsea to Arsenal. And, you know, I would say he has brought success to the club. I know the first few months when he joined, it was a huge improvement for us. So if this was his last season, or if he's staying on next season, we should definitely respect him. Maybe he'll play less, but he has been a good signing for us. There's no doubt about it. But maybe that could potentially be one of his last games. In midfield, I thought Xhaka and Ramsey, they've been really good. They've been a really good pairing recently. I think Oxlade did really well being out of position on that left side, and obviously Bellerin was on the right. And of course, Ozil, Sanchez. I thought Welbeck was pretty decent, but clearly when Giroud came on, it gave us that little bit more of a push going forward. And I feel like, you know, as soon as that cross came into Ramsey, it's like, oh, that's what we were missing in this game. Just someone that could hold up the ball a little bit better and provide that bit of magic. I think Welbeck can be a little bit inconsistent sometimes. You wonder what he's actually doing with the ball. And by the way, the light's just gone. Well, hey, I can actually not worry about having to put pictures over the top of it. So that's all I wanted to talk about regarding the game. I think Chelsea didn't really show up today, and you could almost tell like they've kind of completed what they wanted to do this season and more. You know, they finished in 10th, was it, last season? They've won the Premier League, and although I'm sure they would have loved to win the FA Cup, and they were definitely trying to win it, you could just tell that maybe Arsenal wanted it just that little bit more. So I think a lot of Chelsea fans are being very fair. I think a lot are obviously salty and angry that I would say something like, oh, congratulations, Arsenal. Great win to a disappointing season. Then I'd get the odd, oh, but you still didn't get Champions League. And, you know, that's fair enough. But some fans were legit saying you guys deserved that victory. We were not good enough today. Thought Kante had a really bad game, actually. He's been a little bit slower this last few weeks. Maybe he's tired. I don't blame him. You know, 2 seasons in a row playing at that level, at his, you know, amount of energy that he expends as well. It's pretty crazy. So I think Chelsea on another day probably would have beaten us and beaten us well, you know, 2 or 3-0. And that's what I was expecting. So I was very pleased to see that we managed to see the game through and get that goal back. Because when it was 1-1, like I said, I really didn't feel too good about it. So now I guess we should talk about what's next. To be honest, I think I've made it pretty clear a couple of times recently that I do feel as if Arsenal need a big change, whether it be the manager and the board. I think it has to be one of them or both. I think having a change at the board level would be nothing but positive at this point, because it just isn't working. We can all see that, right? Even non-Arsenal fans can joke and laugh about how badly things are going right now. It's been arguably our worst season in a long, long time, but we still finished with a trophy, which is crazy. So before this game, I'll be honest, I was kind of expecting us to get smashed 2-3-0 by Chelsea, Arsene Wenger to announce he's signing another 2 years, and all hell breaks loose. That's kind of what I was expecting, but actually, we've won the FA Cup, and Wenger has said in his press conference after the game that we should be expecting an announcement next week. And that, to me, kind of makes me think I got it wrong on both ends. I think possibly, you know, we won the game and he's going to leave. I don't really know what to think about it. He said before the game that he feels like some of the hate and some of the pressure he's been getting isn't fair. It's not fair on a human being to be put through that after what he's done for the club. And do you know what? I kind of agree, and I felt really bad for him. It was quite a sad thing he said, and I kind of regret maybe. Not just me, many other Arsenal fans that I follow online, on Twitter, whatever, just giving him shit constantly. Yeah, he may not be reading my tweets, obviously not, but he'll be hearing the chants in the stadiums, he'll be reading it in the papers, potentially. The players might be relaying information to him that they're hearing out in restaurants or whatever, but it's a difficult situation for a manager to be at a club for so long, to receive so much abuse. It can't be easy, can it? Now, part of me thinks that he will sign on. Whether it's 1 year, 2 years, he will be here next season. I've got a feeling that could still happen. But also, after listening to what he had to say after the game, I think it's perfectly plausible that he could be done. That could be it. It could have been his final game for Arsenal, in charge of Arsenal, I should say, not playing for Arsenal. And if that's the way it is, then that's absolutely fine. I think, you know, maybe it's good timing. Maybe going out with a bang, you know, winning the Champions League. Champions League? I wish. Winning the FA Cup. Not bad. It's not quite a Champions League or a Premier League trophy. That was a terrible mistake. I shouldn't have said Champions League. That's awful. But you get what I meant. He's won the FA Cup. It's a good way to say, thank you. I've really enjoyed my time at Arsenal. I'm moving on. And whether he manages PSG or if he goes to manage a different club somewhere, maybe a national team, maybe even England, something like that, that's fine. He's done his job, and I think I'd be okay. I think I'd be okay with it. And I think a lot of Arsenal fans would agree with me that if he stays or if he goes, we're going to have to accept it either way, and we will be okay. I don't think that we can expect anything incredible next season. I think the fact that we're not in the Champions League isn't exactly a positive in the same way it was for Chelsea, not having games, for example, because we're going to be in the Europa League instead, which actually, if you look at the stats, makes things harder for clubs fighting for the Premier League. So if anything, I think next season could be worse than this season. So maybe it's good that he stays. So at least we're not going into turmoil like, you know, with Manchester United losing Ferguson and all of a sudden just dipping. I think if Wenger was to leave now, we struggle in the Europa League, we finished in 8th or something next season, that would be an absolute disaster. And if he left then, that would be awful. It's such a difficult... The more I think about it, the more difficult it really is. He stays now and we have a somewhat okay season, then he leaves. Or he leaves now and we have a terrible season and it's just an awful situation to be in either way. We can't win in this situation. But then there is always the chance that he leaves now, we have a really good season, we win the Europa League, we finish in top 3 or whatever, with a new manager and everything looks dandy. Who knows what's going to happen? But in my humble opinion, and with all honesty in my heart, I think this is a good time for Wenger to hang up his boots, hang up his jacket, if he can get the zip undone. This could be the time that we've won the FA Cup. We didn't have a good season, but we won the FA Cup. And that's my gift to you guys in my final season. You know, and if that happens, then fair enough. If it doesn't, then we'll deal with it. But I think that's going to be the end of this video. I've been talking for quite a while. I didn't want it to be too long. Now, just to let you know, I woke up to some pretty bad news family-wise this morning. So if I don't upload tomorrow or the day after, hopefully you will be okay with that. I know not everyone might be watching at this point. They might have left. But I feel like I need to be honest with you guys. Some shit's going down in my family. I'd like to be available and not necessarily sitting at my desk all day. So hopefully you understand. It's not something I'm ever going to talk about. It needs to stay within me and my family. But I'm just letting you know there may not be any content. It may be absolutely fine and it's back to normal. So hopefully you understand. What a day for Arsenal, though. Not a great day for me personally because of that situation going on. But it was nice to see Arsenal finish on a high after an extremely disappointing season. And what happens next? We will soon find out. Thanks for watching, guys. Please do leave a like rating and I will see you next time.